Gold price is seeing a big drop on Thursday. David, what's leading the charge today?
Well, I think we saw some short-term 90-day solutions by the central banks and the Federal Reserve and Japan, et cetera, all joining in to make sure there's some short-term cash funding for a lot of the Euro bank problems, but they're only talking about roughly into year end. So initially you're going to have some people selling gold on that news, but I think, Alex, this is all part and parcel of the normal consolidation period for gold.
Meaning that the correction's it's not a correction, it's not a deep sell-off, it's not that big of a deal?
Well, I talked about that we would have a likely multi-month consolidation back when we were approaching those 1900 levels. You and I talked about it, and at the time that probably wasn't a fashionable statement to make. But at the end of the day, gold had a huge rally. We went from about 1480 to 1910, 1920 in 8 or 9 weeks or so. And prior to that, we rallied for almost 3 years. So you really need to have several months to work that off, but the fundamentals for gold are strong and getting better.
So you said a couple months. What's the price level for that then? Is it 1650 or are we going to the 1400s?
No, I talked about the 1640, 1660 range many weeks ago as possible. I know plenty of traders can look at a chart and see the gap there, but the reason I actually had that number didn't have to do with a gap in the chart. It has to do with some normal retracement levels after such a long run. It is also possible that we won't see that gap filled and that we will consolidate in the mid 1700s and then move higher.
All right, so then when do we move higher? We have to wait until that liquidity runs out for the European banks. And then what's the top then? Because like you said, you called that top about 1908. So what's the next leg?
Well, we are in a 13-year cycle for gold, in my opinion, started in 2001. So still 2-3 more years left. I've talked about this before. This is maybe like 1997, and the tech stocks are still a couple of good years ahead. You're going to consolidate. The next major pivot top that I see, Alex, is about 2,300 to 2,350 per ounce, but we may not see that until some point next year.
All right, thanks, David. I appreciate it. So you really can't overanalyze today's sell-off because gold prices will move higher. There you heard it, $2,300.